I mean, I'm gonna ask how's it going, but I have to imagine that it's going pretty well for all of you because it's going pretty well for me and it's going very, very, very well for the Seattle Kraken. After that 8-1 shellacking, as John Forsland called it. What a way to start off an Emerald City Hockey post-game live presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. Absolutely incredible. I mean, it was dominance from the Kraken start to finish. There was maybe a minute combined where like the Coyotes were really able to put up um a a fight in the Kraken zone there. I mean, this was just the game the Kraken needed. Is the bottom line. Not just to pick up 2 points in the standings, that obviously helps, especially late here. You're looking towards starting, okay, where can we clinch? What's the overall situation, everything. But just to be able to get all those people on the board, you're talking about 8 goals from 7 different goal scorers. I think that's a big deal for the Kraken. Talk about Philip Grubauer getting back into the game, getting into a game and, making 21 to 22 saves. That's fantastic. Like he get his confidence back up and everything. Power play got a lot of in-game practice on the power play. I know 2 for 7 doesn't look that great, but realistically, I mean, they had some good showings, especially on that goal to open off the game. That power play goal from Jordan Eberle. I mean, that was a great power play goal using the bumper, everybody. Who would have thunk it? That's pretty awesome. But yeah, this like all around. This is just a fantastic game. There's no way around it. Like it is so awesome. And I can't think of a better way than to start looking over here at chat with the super chat from Kitty B Kraken. 8 goals? Really? Yes, Kitty B Kraken. The Kraken are holding you honest to that. Really appreciate the super chat. Definitely appreciate that. But yes, I mean, 8 goals. They really stuck that last one in late on you there from Donato too. About 30 seconds left. But yes, this was just a fantastic game from the Kraken all the way around. Like I said, it just seems like what they needed. What we all kind of needed and wanted was just like this nice, relaxing game where we could just celebrate the Kraken and just watch them be as good as we all know they can be, and all those guys scoring goals. I mean, odds are if you had a favorite player, they got at least a point tonight, just because of all the goals that they were able to score tonight. It was so awesome. Got another super chat here from Gregory Lemon Lime. Gatorade time, baby. Done with 200 career points. Pastor Canner with 37 goals. Hashtag busting out the whooping stick. Totally got the Gatorade here. As you can see, I was excited during that game. I drank most of this already pre-gaming just because I was feeling it. But appreciate the super chat, Gregory. And yes, some big milestones. McCann gets up to 37. Happy 500th game for you, and gets up to 37, chasing 40. I mean, he's close now. He's really close. And then, as you mentioned, Vince Dunn getting to 200 points as well. That is so fantastic for him. I'm really happy for him. Just continuing this ridiculous season he's having. He's playing so well. He is making himself a lot of money this year. That is for sure. Braun with a super chat in here as well. Thank you very much. Shower thought Borgen is good version of Lauzon. That's exactly right. I think that is like the perfect way of summarizing Will Borgen. 100%. That's definitely what it is. You totally nailed it. I know it was Striatic. I don't know if you're in the Striatic. I know you were at the game tonight. But Striatic had brought up us wanting to talk about Borgen during one of the things. We didn't have a chance to add it to the deep dive that released today. We'll do it down the line. I mean, it might have to wait until after the postseason where we deal with like all the upcoming contracts for the Kraken. But when we were talking, me and RJ did like talk just a little bit about it behind the scenes, and we were talking about Will Borgen, and the bottom line is, yeah, I mean, he brings a lot of that same stuff that everybody's idea of Lauzon is, that big physical defenseman that can wear down opponents, all that kind of stuff come like playoff time, especially. That's what Will Borgen brings. And yeah, he doesn't take dumb penalties and he can play defense, unlike Lauzon, unfortunately. This is great. Ty OMG, is it Thursday yet? Going to be epic. Yeah. Okay. So this upcoming game against the Coyotes on Thursday is going to be crazy, because as I'm looking at the game summary from this one, obviously we talked about the 8-1 final score, all the great goals from the Kraken. The other thing I want to bring up though, 49 penalty minutes for the Arizona Coyotes, 31 for the Seattle Kraken. Things, especially late there, we saw it getting very, very testy between these two teams. The Arizona Coyotes did not want to go down without a fight, literally. They were definitely coming out swinging there towards the end. And you know what? To the Kraken's credit, they were right there. You look at Ryan Donato scoring that 8th goal with under 30 seconds left in the game, sees his line mate in Sprong go down, and take a bad hit there, immediately stands up for him. Doesn't have time to celebrate his goal. He's going to bat for his teammate there. Love to see that from Ryan Donato. And yeah, I mean, everybody on the Kraken, nobody was going to back down. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the game on Thursday, also at CPA against the Coyotes, is going to bring, because I mean, is it going to start off that way, or is it going to be, if one team jumps out to any sort of significant lead early on, that we could see things kind of devolve into a situation like that? I mean, it's really crazy. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then obviously I'm really trying to get out to Arizona for that game at Mullet Arena. And if anything like that hangs around for that game, that would be quite something to see as well. Michael, yet another 8-goal game. Wow. Just keep winning against these lesser opponents. It's the name of the game, especially this time of year. Just take care of the games that you have to take care of. And the Kraken are. And this is why, maybe at times RJ and I not as panicky as maybe some other people around the Kraken media space. It was just because we knew these Arizona games were in there. And I know Arizona plays well, but they kind of only play well at home. I knew for a fact these two CPA games were going to be good chances for the Kraken to pick up some easier points, and that's what they certainly did for this one. It'll be great. Light with the super chat, thank you very much. Arizona didn't go down without a fight, but let's be real, the Kraken players definitely have the advantage on that front too. They do. Those fights were I mean, I think the only one that I'd kind of call like even well, there was really only the one actual fight, and that was the Alexiak one. And that one was, that was pretty decent. I thought that was a good fight all the way around. Both guys handled it well. Was it Liam O'Brien, I think, for the Coyotes there. Yeah, that was a good fight. And then the rest of it was just that kind of like post whistle stuff. I thought the refs did a good job of, calling the misconducts, just getting guys out of there. I don't have a problem with that, especially like, Ryan Donato getting kicked out with 27 seconds left. Like, yeah, all right, that's fine. He just scored a goal anyway. It's all good. So yeah, I just can't wait to see what Thursday brings. That's gonna be so interesting. So interesting. Oh, I'm so fired up for that. But before that, we got a game tomorrow night going up to Vancouver, and I bring this up just because it is going to be our Patreon live commentary game, and we're just trying to get the word out for that so it doesn't kind of creep up on everybody. But it was the only away game that we didn't think one of us was going to be at, so we had to make it tomorrow night against Vancouver, but just because it was going to be the only away game where we were going to actually both be able to like do this, because RJ will be going to Vegas, and then it sounds like I'll be going to Arizona. So just reminding out there for patrons or anybody who wants to join the Patreon tomorrow night against Vancouver, that will be our live game commentary. Really looking forward to that one. Last time, everybody, remember, we got that Dallas overtime Adam Larson game winner. It's a very good one. DJ and Tay, if Arizona would have kept their fist to themselves, we probably don't try and add 3 of the goals late. Playoff ceiling game Thursday. It's very possible that on Thursday the Kraken can clinch it. It'll depend, of course, on what they do tomorrow night and kind of how the rest of the dominoes fall. But based on this win for the Kraken, I think it could definitely happen. RJ and I had kind of been looking at this week being the week that would probably happen for the Kraken anyway. But yeah, if you go into Vancouver and you win, and then you win on Thursday, that I think that probably does it for you. Crack stack, baby, from Daniel. Absolutely. Chris, magic number down to 6. So there we go. That's kind of answering our question there. Z Butler, does a misconduct equal a fighting penalty for Donato? If so, Gordie Howe hat trick achieved. It does not. Unfortunately, it does not. It is a different thing. Donato was assessed 10 penalty minutes for that. A misconduct is different than a fight. So we did not get our first Gordie Howe hat trick for a Seattle Kraken member with Ryan Donato for that one. But But yeah, I mean, it is still I take that from Donato standing up for his teammate in a situation like that says so much about who he is as a hockey player. I absolutely love Ryan Donato. Cody, what is shellacking? Good boost of confidence and reaffirming that the boys can score. Absolutely. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Great win by the Kraken. Need to, oh, sorry, it just jumped on me. Need to be ruthless during this stretch, but watch out for cheap shots from Schultz there. Yes. I mean, I thought the Kraken did a good job of kind of handling that. And you know what? Credit to the Coyotes. You're getting blown out. It was obvious that they were frustrated by that, but they didn't totally take cheap shots. I think the worst one was that hit on Sprong that Donato stood up for. And you know, again, credit to Donato for doing that, and credit for the linesman for just, you know, handling things. Even before that, the refs and the linesmen were really trying to just get guys out of the game to keep that under control. But you know, the Coyotes could have made this uglier had they wanted to, and they didn't. So I do want to give them, you know, a shout out for being good sportsmen. Even though you're getting blown out, they held it together enough. Kraken, the Coyotes made it much easier to continue hating Arizona-based teams. That hit on Sprong after the Donato goal was uncalled for. Good game for the boys, though. We needed it for sure. Medeiros, well, that was a roaring good time. It was, wasn't it? And again, no, you know, we're going to talk about the goal scoring and everything, but for you, I'll talk about Grubauer. Grubauer looked fantastic in this one. He wasn't challenged too much, but he still had 22 shots on goal. He only allowed one. That's going to help out the save percentage. It was just a good, solid, you know, get some confidence back in there kind of night for Grubauer, especially at home. I think that's a big deal. You know, Kraken getting the win at home, Grubauer getting the win at home. Daniel, fourth line didn't score till Donato's late one. It was a good one. I like that he jumped in there. Ty Canner's Dragon Snipe. Wow. Sprung with 2 passing apples. Wow. Sprung being an enforcer in the D zone. Wow. Ebbs Geeks Bjorky. Oh my Borgatron. Finally. Yes. Good old Billy Borgs, as Lindsay would call him, is back on the board. How about Carson Soucy getting one back on the board? First time this calendar year. That's pretty cool too. So yeah, it was a really good night all the way around, especially for those guys on the back end. Donnie, heck yeah, Ty, Thursday kick comes soon enough. It's gonna be so good. Lindsay, that's Kraken hockey, baby. Wash, rinse, and repeat for Thursday when I'm in the building, please. I know. Congrats to everybody who was in the building. I know some people were in there for this one, and you know, good on you for getting in there. I know Rebecca, that was your first game this season up at CPA. Congrats on getting a good one. I'll throw that out there. I don't know if you're in here right now or not, but definitely. Duthin with the super chat here. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Shout out for the Kraken's first over 500 season and real 500, not hockey 500. There we go. Let's see what is their record now after this one. I gotta wait for my standings page to update. It looks like, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be up there. Yeah, that was gonna be over 500. Awesome. Totally love it. Totally love it. It is fantastic. And thanks for the super chat there, Duthin. TBK, I call this game taking care of business. Only 5 more points to go. Yeah, absolutely. It was good stuff there. James, dirty scumbags from Arizona. Sucks we have to play them 2 more times, or is it good so we can keep blowing them out? I take the blowout wins. I take the 2 points. And like I said, I know they were getting on everybody and all of that kind of stuff, and that Sprong hit was certainly not clean and not good. But again, I've seen games get way worse and way more ugly. I've seen guys out there trying to, you know, intentionally injure people, and the Arizona wasn't doing that. They were trying to drag the Kraken down and stop the bleeding, and stop, you know, just have some respect for themselves as they're getting completely blown out of the water. I get that. I understand that from a player's standpoint. But yeah, I take 2 more games against them. I don't think they're going to do anything too nasty, and you know, hopefully, knock on wood, I'm proven right there. Team win. Love that we didn't back down. Absolutely, thoroughly entertaining. It was Leanne. Light, the deep dive curse worked doubly tonight. Berkey back on the ice again, and the offense showed up. Look, I will take it. I've said this before. I will say it again. I'm probably going to say it again come playoff time. I am totally fine being made the fool as long as it means good things for the Kraken. If it means guys getting healthy, if it means the Kraken scoring and blowing out teams, I will be made the fool. I don't care. I will take that all day long. And you know what? I'm guessing everybody else too. You'll all take that, right? If we could all laugh at me, but it means the Kraken are doing well, I think we all take that. Good morning, Barbara. They found the scoring button again. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. All it took was playing against that poor Arizona goalie who just, I mean, he had a rough game last game too. And the coach, when he said putting him back in today, was just like, trying to get him back out there, and it was just rough, rough, rough. Um, let's see. Tammy letting us know stars were Grew, Susie, and McCann. Yeah, that sounds about right. I like that Grew got in there. I know he didn't, you know, have to face like a ton of stuff tonight, but the bottom line is he made just about every save. And that one goal against, I mean, somehow like 9 foot tall Lawson Krause, this guy that is just always going to follow me no matter where I go, both good and bad. He just got lost. The Kraken lost him. I don't know how you lose that guy. He's like a foot taller and like 100 pounds heavier looking than everybody else on on the ice. But they somehow lost him back there. So Grew, not much he could do on that one. I'm kind of shocked Susie didn't end up with the Gordy at the end. Jake saying, I know, I was a little surprised there too. But I think it was Krause that he was kind of going with it. The linesmen just weren't going to let them do it. It was after that Alexiak fight. Linesmen were just not going to have it, clearly. But yeah, that would have been cool. You're definitely on it there, Jake. CR Bud, who's liking the stream tonight? I mean, I can't see it. I see there's 107 in here right now, though. I got to imagine lots of likes on the stream, and I really appreciate that, everybody. Duthan with another super chat here. Thank you very much. Also, shout out for 15 of 18 Kraken skaters getting points tonight. That's incredible. Like, I mean, it speaks to the depth. I know we talk about this, and we've talked about this for their other like 8-goal games, is just the incredible depth that the Kraken have. But that's ludicrous that you would have only 3 skaters out there not collect a point tonight. And I'm looking, and it's Jaden Schwartz, Ellie Tolvanen, and Jamie Alexiak. Those are your 3 that were, unfortunately did not get a point tonight. Everybody else picking up at least 1. And funnily enough, nobody getting like 3. Like everybody maxed out at 2. Like you got 1 or 2. That was kind of like it on this one. That is a very interesting spread out there. So very, very cool. And again, thank you so much for the super chats there, Duthan. Really appreciate it. Sergeant Pickles here. Duds denied a Canner Hattie. Big rig fights like a newborn giraffe. Yotes being ridiculously sore losers. Yeah, I mean, it's the big rig fight was an interesting one. I feel like all his fights are interesting for one reason or another. I just always think they're a lot of fun. And then, yeah, Canner again scoring 2 goals, but not quite able to get the third one to seal the deal on the hat trick. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen at some point. It's going to happen. It has to. But yeah, it is pretty funny. Krakendock, it's only a matter of time before we get another home Hattie from one of the boys. Are we thinking we could see it in the playoffs? How awesome would that be? That would be incredible, Kraken Hawk. I would love that so much. That would be so awesome. Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. What a way for your first ever playoffs to go and get a hat trick in there. Like that would be so cool. Are you sure we can't play the Coyotes in the playoffs from Lindsay? Yes, unfortunately. Fortunately, the teams we're looking at are slightly better than they are. Oh, man. Let's see. Cody, I didn't see that. I was listening to everyone on the radio, lol. Let's see. Maddie point alert from Coop. Definitely. Maddie picking up another one tonight. That was good to see. Happy about that. Go, keep adding them. Keep adding them. Let's see. Good stuff. Love Alexiak dominating a fight from AL there. Definitely. Studs from Sergeant Pickles. Here we go. Dropping a TD and went for 2 on those jerks. Dunner 200 points. Not sure if Father Canner or Chris Kyle. I know that's a good one there. But yeah, we talked about the Dunn 200 points earlier. There was just so many good things on here, and just rolling right into Ben's right after that. Allison Lucan went ham with all the individual Kraken stats on Twitter tonight. I know I wasn't able to keep up with it all because I got to watch, make notes, all that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to after this going back through and just going to her Twitter page and just scrolling through everything and pick it up on anything that I missed. I got to think that that's going to be a good time. Daniel, 4-2 to get to 100 seems so much better than 5-2 did, even though it's just one game. Yeah, it really, really does. It's kind of crazy, especially because you look at the schedule and you got two more games against the Coyotes. The Vegas games scare me. Not gonna lie. I mean, Vegas is a good team. I think they should scare all of us. We just did a whole podcast about that. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Tomorrow night against Vancouver should be a lot of fun and really interesting too. After this one, Kraken going on the road to go up the freeway there a little bit. It should be an interesting battle for them. Joshua, I need the JV Jones hat to go to Donato for standing up for his teammates twice. I'm with you, Joshua. I 100,000 million trillion billion whatever large number it is. I'm right there with you. Davy Jones hat for Ryan Donato tonight. Definitely, definitely, definitely. I'm kind of sad he wasn't a star of the game, to be perfectly honest. I like, McCann obviously makes sense. I like that they gave it to Grubauer. I already talked about that. Carson Soucy, that's cool. He got back on the board. But Ryan Donato definitely deserves something for that performance that he had tonight. It was great. Oh my gosh, my thing just totally jumped on me. Alex, getting depth scoring heading into the playoffs is huge. It is. Although, I mean, for the Kraken, that's kind of just the way they roll anyway, right? I just like that the top six started scoring. Queen Anne Beer Hall, thank you for sponsoring our ECH peeps. Definitely, Donnie. I mean, Queen Anne Beer Hall, so thankful to have them for this season. Absolutely been loving that partnership with them. It's been fantastic. Definitely, everybody check them out. Again, playoff time. That is going to be the place to be if you can't be in CPA or for those road games. Definitely Queen Anne Beer Hall is going to be the place to be. Ty, I watched the Zonacast. They spoke pretty highly of Seattle, talked Maddie and all four lines hurting you. Then they said, oh, Yanni, you don't want that. Don't know much about drop of the mitts, lol. I think that's been like a season by season like thing I've heard about them. Ty, that bit at the end there. But I love that they're giving Maddie some love. Love that they're talking about how dangerous Seattle is in the depth. Definitely appreciate hearing that. Declan, lots of tension on the ice, just a little. We'll see how much of it spills over on the Thursday. Should you ever be expected to take your foot off the gas in the NHL? Daniel asking. Not really. Like what you'll do is, you'll maybe try to make one like you try not to show up the other team. Like you're not going to make like this one extra special crazy pass to really show them up if you're already up by like 7. But really the big thing is just you don't like celebrate a ton when you score your 8-1 goal. Like Donato wasn't going to celebrate a ton there, regardless of what happened with the Sprong hit or even the goal before that. Morgan Geeky, I did think a little bit. I was like, wow, that's a lot of celebration there from Geeky and everybody on the ice. But it was a power play goal. Geeks hasn't scored in a while. I get it. And it wasn't like egregious. But otherwise, no. I mean, teams don't really fault you for trying to score. Nobody wants a game where you're just trying to wait out the clock. Nobody wants that, and the league doesn't want that because fans really don't want that. So that's kind of like how things are. Over under for me at 3.5 fights on Thursday from Sergeant Pickles. It's going to be really interesting because, like I said, I don't know. I mean, Coyotes don't have anything to lose, so they could just go into that game wanting to goon it up. But my guess is they're going to want to at least try from the beginning to just win the game and have that be their revenge, especially then knowing they're going to go to Arizona not too long after that next Monday. But if the Kraken jump out to any sort of big lead again, you could start seeing stuff like that. I'm going to take the under on 3.5 though, just because I think we'll see the refs do what they did tonight. They'll just start tossing guys. They're not going to let it get to the point where they can fight. I think I wonder if that's a league kind of mandate this season. I don't know, because we've seen that a couple times now from the Kraken in these situations. Buck, defense was solid, offense was solid. Gruby was remarkable. I have nothing to complain about. That's because there just wasn't. I'm right there with you. It was just a fantastic game, start to finish. Nicole, really love what Donato did. Such a great team win. 1,000%. Definitely. If this series with Arizona was earlier in the season, we'd already be clinched. Daniel's saying. I mean, yeah, assuming you win all of them for sure. I mean, that would be a big jump in the points. I mean, we'd still be talking about like, hey, maybe you do have a shot at that third spot in the division there. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was just a fantastic win for them. Stratic. So that was fun. Yeah, I'd say so. Yes, I'm here walking the monorail. Yeah, you got a good one, Stratic. Definitely. Declan, I say Canner gets 40 by Saturday. Ooh, that would be good. I mean, gotta like him going back up to Vancouver, get a revenge game in there, get another game against Arizona. It's possible. It is possible. Definitely, definitely. Let's see. Oh, hey, it's Duke. How dare you insult babyface Borgen like that? Did I insult Borgen? Or would you mean Arizona? I didn't think I did. And I loved that face he made when he scored. Just that, like, like, just a relaxed, like, nice, like, yes. I love that. I just wanna, like, clip that for something. That was fantastic. But yeah, I love Will Borgen. Heading home from the game, that was a lot of fun. Jay, you got in there. I mean, I love it. Everybody who got to see this game in person, congrats. Good for you. Obviously, we'll hear from RJ later, but I got to imagine the building was loud. Joshua Donato left the ice a bit early after the last shuffle. Please tell me he got a fighting penalty. He has a goal and an assist. Gordial hat trick. No, got the game misconduct. So same with Susie. Neither guy gets the Gordial hat trick. They both got game misconducts just to get them out of there. That's the way the refs called it. It's on the box sheet in there. Ryan Donato misconduct. Carson Susie misconduct. It's just the way it goes for that one. So no, they do not count for Gordie Howe hat tricks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know, especially for you, Joshua. You've been pulling for this for a really long time. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. Daniel, Kraken are undefeated against the Mariners when they play on the same night. M's lost 7-3 to the Angels. Well, look, Mariners got a lot more games in their season to make it up than the Kraken do right now heading into the playoffs. So if that's if that's the way it's got to go, I guess that's the way it goes. Vareen, did they hear that power plays were a reliable way to suppress Kraken offense? Doesn't seem to have worked out for them. No, I mean, granted, the Kraken only scored 2 of their 8 on the power play, so in some ways it worked for them. But yeah, I mean that Arizona, if that was their strategy, I mean they did a good job going for it with the 49 penalty minutes. Oh, hey, it's Duke. Josh Brown racked up 14 of those penalty minutes by himself in that one run. Yeah, there was some people who really went out there for the penalty minutes today, both sides. But yes, that Josh Brown really got those with that late bit there on Donato and Sprong. Firebirds just won their shootout from Absurdly Sane. Thank you for that update. Love to hear the Firebirds continuing doing what they do, which is just win every game. It seems like that's just the way they go. Oh man. Stratic Arizona, a bunch of goons, pathetic display, high risk of injury on Sprong. Yeah, like I said, that is the one penalty, the one hit that went too far for sure. Line fights at the drop of the puck are always from Atomic Shockwave. I know. I mean, that would be kind of crazy if we saw that on Thursday. The Kraken have to play a lot of hockey here in April, especially, they got another game tomorrow night. Reminder, live game commentary for patrons. Check it out. Link in the description below. But yeah, it's a lot of hockey for the Kraken to be playing. I don't know that they're going to want to do something like that just because of that, but it'll be a lot of fun. Dexter, I'll be at Mullet for the game in a week. Come down. I'm going to try to. If I get the road clearance, then we're all good. I'm going to Arizona. Definitely. And I'll try to say hi, Dexter. It's always hard. Sometimes some of the arenas don't make it easy to get down and meet fans from wherever the press is. And I don't know what the situation is at Mullet, given how unique that overall arena situation is, but I will definitely try to reach out and find you. And anybody else who's going to be there. Daniel, I know sometimes we can get on Alexiak for playing a little soft, but every time he has dropped the gloves, it's been at least a stalemate. Definitely. I don't know that Alexiak really wins fights like outright. Daniel, I'm with you, but but he always holds his own. He definitely does. He's a talented guy, and he's a real team player. I really do appreciate that and respect that from Alexiak's game. It's been clear to me that is kind of his job. Like, he is the guy on this team that takes the fights for the team, and that's a respectable thing. I do give him props for that. Don't forget to like the stream, show our boys some love. Appreciate it, Donnie. Kraken unleash their inner twisted sister, scoring those goals from Edward. Love it. Yes, definitely. Lindsay, Daniel Sprong, notable passer, 2 primary helpers tonight. He's really trying to round out his game, and I love to see him getting hot leading up to the playoffs. He had some beautiful passes in this one. This was probably the best Kraken passing performance all season long, I would say. Yeah, Daniel Sprong definitely in there. I believe it was, what was it, that he had the pass to Eberle in the bumper spot on that power play, which, first off, Kraken, Thank you. They must have listened last post game after that Kings game where I was like, use the bumper on that power play. Because you know what? Arizona tried to do the same thing, spread out their PKers, and Jordan Eberle snuck right in there. Sprong gave him the dish right on the money. It was fantastic. And then later setting up Carson Soucy. That was another great one to just read that cross zone that Soucy was activating. He was stepping up. He was going to have a nice lane to walk in on the goaltender. That was a really nice read by Daniel Sprong. I definitely give him props for that one. A couple more super chats here. Appreciate it. From Schultze, CV's win tied for first in the AHL. I'm telling you, Coachella Valley is crushing it right now. They're absolutely crushing it. I mean, really, all season long, they've been crushing it, is the bottom line. Absolutely love it. Really appreciate the super chat there. And then from Kraken Spectacor, let's give it up for Soucy finally receiving a dumb penalty against instead of taking one. Yes, definitely going to give it to him for that. Yes, it was a really good night for Carson Soucy, somebody who we have talked about. I mean, I brought him up. Was it last game or the game before? Carson Soucy having a really good game. I think it was Ty brought him up like a week before that, having a good game. Carson Soucy is really, I think, figuring it out here late in the season, and that's really cool to see. I think finally both those defensive pairings after that switch kind of mid-season around the All-Star break, whenever that was, where we saw, Borgen go up to play with Alexiak. We saw Schultz come back and play with Carson Soucy. I feel like those D pairings, they finally kind of played enough minutes together, been through enough different scenarios where that chemistry is finally getting there for both of those pairings, and we're starting to see them all play a little bit better. I really like that. I really like that. Uh, Happy to see it for sure. Alan, hooey! It's a massacre when even John gets less and less excited for the goals starting with the sixth. Yeah, I think towards the end there, I think even he was getting a little tired of like having to do all that. That's got to be stressful on his voice, getting that excited about all of it. But yeah, it was a good game. Anytime you put the play-by-play guy in that situation, it's a good night. Calling it now, McCann gets a hat trick tomorrow to get 40 goals on the team that drafted him. Poetic from a Bach. I would love that, especially on the live stream. That would be incredible. That would be so cool. Robert Kraken, yes. Definitely all day. Bazzi, that power play 3 unit was quite effective. The power play all the way around was really good in this one. And, it's tough to say how much of that was like you're playing Arizona. They're not the most skilled team in the world. I don't know what their PK's really been like through the most of this season. But a lot of it did feel like the Kraken kind of learned some lessons from that last game against the Kings, where it was, look, if teams are really going to sell out to stop, whether it's like the Tolvanen one-timer or Sprong on the other side or McCann on that other side, if they're going to really sell out for that and spread out those two forwards on the PK like that and leave the middle of the ice open, then we got to take advantage of that. We got to take what they're going to give us, because that slot, that middle of the ice, that is the highest percentage place you could be to score a goal. Sorry for hitting the mic there. Like that is, I absolutely love that. So I'm really curious to see if we see something different from, say, Vancouver tomorrow night, or Vancouver. I don't know if they gotten better on the PK. I remember they for a while were the team with us sub 70%, just really dogging it. I have to assume they're a little bit better on it since then. But both against Vancouver and then also again on Arizona, to see if Arizona is going to play that same way on Thursday or not. My guess would be not, after they kind of got killed for it today. But it'll still be interesting to see. Pablo, 42, 26, and 8, 92 points. Incredible, right? Like absolutely incredible. The growth year over year is astonishing. Obviously, it's historic, and we're just adding to that history every single game, it seems like now. It's so fun. So fun. Sarah, I love my boys. Don't forget to like the stream. Appreciate it, Sarah. Definitely. Assuming you were at the game too. Hope you had a good time. Daryl Sprong gets the apples because he forces respect and the defenders overcommit. Very possible, Daryl. I mean, that is maybe what we are seeing right now from Daniel Sprong. He was so hot there for so long that, yeah, teams have to pay attention to him on the ice. And then he recognizes that and starts making those dishes. All for it. I am all for it if he wants to be that kind of player. That is fantastic. JMG with the super chat. Appreciate it. McCann scores on the power play and a shorty. Just needed the 5v5 goal to complete the trifecta. I know that was really cool. That shorthanded goal with the setup from Beniers, that thing was beautiful. the way it like rimmed around, like all of that was so clean, so pretty. And I like him getting those shorthanded goals. Let me see how many he had coming into this game, but that's been one of the aspects I've really liked about McCann this year is him joining the PK and kind of playing more on it. I thought that was really awesome. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up really quick here. How many he had shorthanded goals? Yeah, he had 2 coming into this one. So that's his 3rd shorty on the year. That's a lot of shorthanded goals. I absolutely love getting to see that from him. All right, let's see. RJ, it must be a heck of a press conference too, by the way, because we're 35 minutes in. RJ's still not here joining us. Very excited to hear what that's all about. But yeah, I got to imagine everybody's in a pretty good mood. Oh, well, you know what? Speak of the RJ and shall appear, because that's what that's what just happened here. Let me go ahead and add in RJ. RJ, I mean, we've been talking about it. Obviously, it was a fantastic game. So many good things to talk about. Couldn't help but notice. Took you a little while to get in here. I got to imagine everybody was really happy in that locker room after this one.
Yeah, no, the mood was definitely happy. Also, a little bit of a rush to try and get on the plane, but I think the guys definitely had plenty to say about that win.
Yeah, I mean, what was the building like? I got to imagine the building was a ton of fun tonight.
It was really fun, especially at the end. I mean, Dylan, you've been to some of those games where it's just at the end and then a team kind of keeps finding ways to pour it on. And, the crowd just, you want more. And the Kraken delivered for him at the end.
Yeah. How about the Kraken? 15 of 18 skaters getting a point tonight. Like, incredible.
That is incredible. And 15 of 18 skaters and the goalie, Philip Grubauer, got an assist on the second McCann goal as well.
Yeah, it's just, just incredible all the way around. So
much. Because we were talking with Carson Soucy after the game, and I guess someone brought up that he had the goal and the assist. Did you think about the Gordie Howe hat trick? He's like, yeah. I didn't even know I had the assist. Like, there were so many goals. What goal was it on?
Oh, love it. I mean, that's the way defensemen think. They're not used to having to keep track of all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, we talked about that both with Carson Soucy, with was it Ryan Donato, I believe, also the potential to have that there. People wondering about the misconducts that they received, if that counted. Fortunately, it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, interesting things all the way around. I do want your opinion just because it's come up a lot tonight. Obviously, we got to face Arizona again on Thursday. One, how do you think Arizona kind of comes out in response to that, given how they kind of finished the game today? And then, like, what are your thoughts on how Arizona kind of played towards the end of this one?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start with the second question because we got to address the Coyotes' play at the end of this one. I thought there were definitely some dirty plays involved. I think the worst of them was that hit after the goal on Daniel Sprong, after the 8-1 goal. Look, the game's over. To take a run at a guy like that, I always hate that kind of play where it's near the boards and you send someone tumbling into the boards. I have, this extra hatred for that. Maybe it's because, when playing youth hockey, I broke my leg along the boards, by slamming in there. I know how bad things can get. Like it's just such a bad play. And Daniel Sprong wasn't shy in talking about it too. He said that it's, it was a bad play and that, he didn't like, if you're upset with him, he's like, look, I get it. I hit the guy late in the second period. Shit happens, he said. But, if you're going to come at me after that, come at me during play. Don't do that, when he's not in a position to defend himself. Yeah. Although, and he did say at the end, too, I posted the whole quote. I'm trying to be careful in my paraphrasing here. I posted the whole quote on Twitter, so everyone can go take a look at that. But, at the end, he said, too, look, they've had a really rough year. They just lost 8-1. If the situations were reversed, I'd be pretty pissed off, too. But that's not the time and place to do it.
Gonna say you'll paraphrase everything but the one word that could get us in trouble, RJ.
Yeah, exactly.
I felt like that one was the one that was like kind of the step too far, but I did give Arizona a little bit of props because I think, and you would agree with this too, we've seen teams get a lot worse than the Coyotes did in situations like this. Like I was worried that we'd see a lot more plays like that Sprong one than we actually saw.
Yeah, I mean that one I have,
right.
I can't let that one go. But aside from that, I mean, you have I think it was Josh Brown. It was some Brown number 3 on the Coyotes there who got the 4 minutes for roughing and the 10-minute misconduct. I mean, basically just going after Gord and then Donato in the scrum. Like, that's fine. They're squared up. They can see it coming. I mean, still I'd prefer you not do that, but he got the penalties appropriately and all that. Again, the Coyotes, they just resorted to playing loser hockey, and that's just trying to go after whoever you can and getting angry. So moving on to the first question you asked about next game, I don't think we'll see any of that right away, but knowing that they would do this in this game, if it gets ugly again, I wouldn't be surprised to see it one more time.
That's what I said. I said they're going to come out and they're going to try to just win the game if they can.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they find themselves down a couple goals again, like, they're going to have to. Because I feel like partly why Arizona did that was just because they know they have to play them again on Thursday, and then you have to play them again a week from today. Like, so you have to start sending a message of, we're not just going to let you steamroll us every time. I feel like if Arizona, they weren't going to play them again for another month and a half, I don't know that we see Arizona do what they did tonight either.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right about that. It's just the close grouping of games where they felt the need to send a message. And I mean, Carson Soucy, he kind of shook it off pretty easily. Just talked about how great it was that the Kraken players stood up for their teammates, especially Donato going in, right after the player who hit Sprong. But he said, look, we're not going to be looking for that. If it comes our way, we'll be ready to handle it. But we're certainly not going to go out and try and start anything or get them back.
Yeah, no, of course. Ty felt like Zona might have been playing up a bit on Sprong, to which he beats them with great passes. If he can do that more often, he is absolutely something teams have to game plan around. We were just kind of talking about that with Sprong. Had this beautiful passes in this one, RJ. It's absolutely beautiful ones to set up Eberle to kick off the scoring, and then later on to get Carson Soucy with a goal, which is not something I expected going into today's game. But yeah, it does look like Daniel Sprong, okay, you got noticed again. Merrick's talking about you all the time. Everybody is zeroed in on Daniel Sprong, and he felt the pressure and he said, all right, let me beat you a different way.
Exactly. And maybe you should have saw that coming, because I did actually ask Daniel Sprong about that after the game. I said, hey, you're usually a shooter, but you got a couple big primary assists. What's like being a playmaker and beating guys that way? He's like, hey, I can pass the puck. Like, I got 22 assists this year. I can pass it. And I got a good chuckle from everyone. So I don't sleep on his playmaking ability like I did.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not. Let's see. I can absolutely see McCann carrying over with more goals to reach 40 from Donnie here. Definitely. Tammy loved the shorty too. Yeah, I mean, McCann having another one, RJ. Again, though, that elusive third goal still eludes him.
I know it's so tough to get that third one, to get the hat trick, especially at the end there where, look, the Kraken had 4 minutes of power play time, but at the end closing it out, they're not going with the top unit. You got Morgan Geekie in there to get the power play goal. His first power play goal as a Kraken, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the Kraken really had their foot on the gas trying to get McCann that hat trick. So you got to understand the situation in the game.
Oh, yeah. David here, was at the game CPA was rocking, felt like goal 8 was a bit overkill, but still fun to see.
Yeah, exactly. But again, those penalties that led to the power play, they came from kind of dirty plays and the Coyotes mucking it up. They definitely could have avoided that. And those are the kind of power plays, if it was a trip or a hook or something late, then you just kind of play with the puck around. But I have no problem with pouring it on if the other team's going to play dirty.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Would rather see Vegas than the Wild, especially with Minnesota's goaltending from Phil. Talk about it all on a deep dive that came out today.
Oh, yeah.
And I push back hard on that narrative. And I give my numbers. RJ gives his on the other side of the debate. Definitely recommend that. Let's see. The Egginator, I'm going to the game on Thursday. Yeah, I mean, anybody going to this game on Thursday is going to be in for it, I think. Should be a good one. That goal face from Borgen was great. I was so happy from him from Donnie there. I loved that face he made when he scored, RJ. Did you see it?
No, I didn't. I didn't have the chance to see it out a way where I could see his face. But I know that everyone coming together for the huddle there after the goal was trying to figure out who scored it. He wasn't sure if he had it. He thought maybe there was a tip coming in front. Yeah, they were trying to figure that one out.
It was like a mix of somebody who looked really relaxed and also a little bit smug. Like he was just like, I was like, that's a good goal face. It was a really good goal face, definitely. All right. Super chat here from Leanne. Big one. It's as though Jared knows I landed a better paying job today from Leanne. Really appreciate the super chat, Leanne, and congratulations on the job. That's awesome.
Yeah, congrats. So happy for you. That is awesome. And yeah, of course, Jared celebrating for you with that one.
Definitely. Really appreciate the super chat. Thanks a lot. And yeah, one more time, congrats. Thanks for sharing that with us too. um, let's see. Braddock, it was moderately loud. A lot of people left early and a fair number of empty seats, maybe due to Mariners game, but the in-arena and post-game vibes were immaculate. The only bad part was that the DJ was never given a proper opening to play the Monday Night Football music.
Oh yes, I know that 7 didn't last very long on the scoreboard. But yeah, no, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see here. Can you guys explain what exactly the bumper spot means from Tammy? Yes. So on the power play, that is the player that kind of plays in the, I mean, in the slot, in the middle there, when you have like one guy net front, one guy back on the point. Let me get the whiteboard.
Do you have the whiteboard, Dylan?
Yes.
Get the whiteboard.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Hush. Gotta get all of Afra's stuff out of the way. Afra's got all her treats and stuff in the way. As though she's like in charge of that, not me. All right, so you got the basic like 1-3-1 power play setup here for the Kraken. That number 2 right there in the middle, that would be the bumper slot.
Yep, that's the bumper spot.
That's the easiest way of explaining it, but that's the bumper spot. But after that last game where the Kings really left that middle of the ice wide open and the Kraken just somehow had nobody there, I was so happy to see that first goal of this game, RJ. Jordan Eberle being wide open there because Arizona tried the same thing. They split their 2 forwards out wide, thinking, hey, these are the only 2 times the Kraken ever shoot. I was so happy to see the Kraken kind of learn from one game to the next again.
Exactly. You have to adjust based on what the opponent's doing when you're on the power play. And yeah, I was so happy to see that goal. Just use the bumper spot more if it's there. I'll say that all season. Like, just use it.
Yep. Phil asking a tough question here, RJ. Who sits when Berkey comes back, Sprong or Donato?
I think probably Ryan Donato. If it's, as of now, just Daniel Sprong. He's so hot right now.
It's the one thing, like, especially if Sprong's going to be dishing it like he did tonight. I mean, that's the way you got to go. I like the versatility of Donato. He can play center, but of course, if Berkey's back, got to think Morgan Geeky's going back down to be your 4C. I think I probably agree with you right now. Like, if it's happening next game, it's going to be Donato. But I mean, I could see them switching off.
Because they had that rotation basically going earlier in the season where it was one of him or Geeky going out. Or Sprong. I could see them going back to that.
Yeah, that does lead me to another question because, like, we were Joshua talking about the Davy Jones hat, and I agreed with him. I thought it should go to Donato tonight.
Yeah, no, I think standing up for his teammate there after the Sprong thing, he had a good game too in his own right with the goal on that play too. I think that's a really good choice. I sometimes get intel from going in the room like who got it, but I couldn't figure out this time because they had all packed everything up to head out to Vancouver. So all the equipment, all the hats, everything was just gone and out the door by the time we got into the room.
All right, so we're gonna have to scout out Twitter for that one.
Yeah.
Lindsay, okay, can we talk about Larson riding Fisher like a pony for a full minute behind the net? Lol. In the words of a former scout, do Adam Larson, do best defenseman.
That is a great song. And I know someone on Twitter suggested that we overlay that song, put that over the video. So I'm going to try and do that tonight because that'd be great. But yes, that was something that we definitely noticed up in the press box as it just continued as he kept sitting on top of him. And like, hey, that's pretty good defense. Adam Larson finding new and creative ways to keep other players from doing anything dangerous.
Yeah, they don't call it suffocating defense for nothing. It comes from somewhere. Dottie, Afra needs a treat after winning like the Kraken did tonight, not getting caught in a trap game. We could make that happen, huh, Afra? You probably appreciate that. Huh? You want to come up? Yeah, I just moved everything out of the way for the whiteboard, so you're all good.
Speaking of Adam Larson, got some Adam Larson power play time.
Yes, we did.
A minute and a half almost.
How great was that? And I believe they scored.
Yes, they did. 1-for-1 with Larson on the power play recently. So I figured you'd like the result. I remember I texted you. I'm like, Dylan, look, Adam Larson power play time, and then immediately Geeky scores.
Yep, it's happening. That's the way to do it. We gotta keep them like that. Just because I had been talking about you, being a while before you were joining us tonight, RJ. Kraken Spectacor. RJ just scored a goal, probably.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Phil's saying, "Hey RJ, great job on Mitch's podcast."
Oh, thank you. No, appreciate that. Yeah. And we'll be doing another one recording sometime later this week for his Patreon. So that'll be on there next week, I think.
Yep. Let's see, where is it? Kraken Spectacor, Bruins act worse in most of their regular season games. I mean, maybe not entirely wrong there.
Yeah.
Chris, goal, assist, and a misconduct. Is that a Yanni Gord hat trick?
Interesting. I don't know about that. I mean, he was in so many scrums tonight. So many. He was in the middle of everything, and you know what? He loved it. He had a smile on his face the whole time. I can't wait to see some of the shots that our photographer Jen got of just Yanni, I'm sure, like in all these scrums and smiling.
Oh yeah, there are gonna be some great picks from this one. Definitely. Canucks PK at 79.5% since the All-Star break, 85.4 since the start of March. Thanks for that update. You know, I've been pushing the Patreon live game commentary tomorrow, everybody. Link in the description below if you're interested. We've been talking about that, and yeah, we're trying to see like kind of, you know, the Kraken could continue this power play stuff moving forward there. And I knew Vancouver had been bad, but appreciate that update. Donnie, Arizona gives up the most power plays in the NHL, and I see it as great practice for the Kraken. That's what I said at the beginning of this one, RJ. I know they only went 2 for 7, but that was a lot of time they got to, you know, in an in-game setting, really work on some things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and the first few of the game, too, the Coyotes were taking a lot of penalties early, which is no recipe to win or try and get an upset against a playoff team.
Yep. Joshua, it's 1:30 a.m. and I'm supposed to get up at 4 a.m. to go to DC for work. Suffice it to say, I will be calling in sick tomorrow. Totally worth it. And while playing hooky, I will be keeping my eye on Twitter for that Larson sit on dude clip with the Larson do soundtrack. Definitely. All right. I mean, I don't entirely know what to say to that, Joshua, other than I hope you have a fun day tomorrow and that you get some sleep. I do hope you get some sleep, but thanks for staying up with us, and hopefully, you know, again, we see you tomorrow night in the live game commentary as well. All the congrats for Leanne. Definitely. Ty, Winterhawks up 3-0 in the series over Everett. May have to dig out the broom already. I'm not saying anything, but I'm sure thinking something. Oh man.
There you are.
Let's see. Striatic, Mariners fan and M's cap on Link Light Rail just now. I'll take Kraken playoffs over Mariners wins for now. Because yes, we talked about that, RJ. Kraken undefeated when the Mariners are also playing in town, but the Mariners didn't get the win tonight. And I said, you know, I mean, they got a lot more games to make up for it.
Yeah, exactly. They've got like 150 something more. This is fine. Need the wins here right now.
Yep, definitely. Cameron, going to the game tomorrow in Vancouver. Go Kraken, and tomorrow only go Blackhawks. Who are the Blackhawks playing? What am I spacing? Oh yeah, Calgary, definitely.
Calgary. Okay, yeah, that's acceptable.
Yes, that makes sense there. All right, so we got a question here. We've been getting this question a lot in comments. I got to answer some of the comments from the pod today on YouTube. Didn't have time for it yet. If the Spitfires are done for the season, will Shane be reassigned to the Kraken? Now, you and I, we were talking a bit about this before the game. We're not entirely sure that he can be, for one.
Right. I haven't found any. I've checked online. I haven't found any confirmation one way or the other about whether it's or not it's possible. I can't think of an example where that's happened.
Yeah.
Can you?
No, not really. And the bottom line is, if they did, and he played one more game, you're burning the year off his ELC.
And you definitely don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. So I don't think that that's going to happen. However, if he's able to join the Firebirds, I think the Kraken do that. Like, why wouldn't you?
Right, but the thing is, he's already. I don't know why he'd be able to join the Firebirds, given the NHL CHL agreement, because he's still too young.
Not if their season is over and he's not going to be eligible next year, which you and I did that math on, and we thought that he wasn't going to be eligible next year. That was the thing from 2013. It was on the Discord. Everybody was really trying to figure this out. But if that's still the rule from the previous CBA, then there is a chance that he is able to join the Firebirds. The problem is, everybody, and here's the big problem, is the NHL does all this stuff behind the scenes, and then they never make any of it public. So there's nowhere you can just go to actually know the rules for the NHL. And that's like ridiculous.
It is that we're having to try and kind of figure it out this way. Like, Of course, I'd love to just walk into Ron Francis's office and be like, "Hey, could you please clear this up for me?" We have great access. We don't have that kind of access. But if I happen to run into him, I will try and see if he'll clear that up. He's generally very nice and will make time for you on small things. But yeah, I would love to get that figured out.
Yeah, but the bottom line is RJ and I were trying to figure out if he still was eligible for the CHL next year and thus would have to be sent there if the Kraken didn't want him. It was kind of inconclusive, if I remember.
Because it comes down to how many seasons he's played in juniors, and if the COVID season that he missed entirely and didn't play any games because it was the COVID season, if that counts, then he's eligible to play in the AHL. But if it doesn't count as a season accrued, then he wouldn't be. So I don't know what the ruling is on that.
Right. We don't know what the ruling is on that, and then that would affect, based on the old CBA, it sounds like his ability to potentially join the Firebirds. It's a mess. The bottom line is we don't know. It doesn't sound like really anybody is 100% sure. So I think we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what happens. Like if the Firebirds get bounced soon, which based on how they're playing is probably going to happen, and then he gets assigned somewhere, we'll know. But it's also possible that the Kraken just want him. Maybe they bring him in just to have him around the team and then just, rest up, get ready for next year kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Striatic, the Jeremy Lauzon Memorial whiteboard. Basically, yes. I had to use it a lot more last season with Jeremy Lauzon, just explaining things on this.
That's true.
Definitely.
I mean, hey, Jeremy Lauzon was in the Kraken lineup the last time the Coyotes played here.
The schedule is ridiculous.
I know.
The schedule is crazy. Oh man, yes, love for the Afro treat, definitely. Absurdly saying seriously, it's April 3rd. Mariners are going to be just fine come September. Yeah, I know, so many games ahead for them. Let's see. Bach, pissing off Donnie is insane because he can't hurt a fly. You have to be really evil to get him. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Oh man, important question. What is the correct spelling of Dogskoy's given name? So Afra, it is spelled Aphra. That is how I spelled Afra, just like Afra Bean or Dr. Afra, the Star Wars character, the two people she's named after. So there we go. Afra Bean not being a Star Wars character, but actually like one of the first female novelists, like to make money writing things. Very different things there on the spectrum. We might have joked about Larson riding that player into battle from Sarah. I mean, why not? Oh man. Calgary plays Winnipeg Wednesday night. Huge game from Daniel. Okay, so Calgary going to have back-to-back and then go into that on the second half of the back-to-back. That's going to be interesting. Definitely worth watching for the Kraken as far as clinching situation. Good night for Driggs with the Coachella win. Definitely love it. Husey got the game-winning goal in the shootout. Love to hear it. Fire. Thanks for those updates. All right, Donnie. Okay, way past time for me to get him a McCann jersey after not only the year he's had, but that toe drag release goal he had tonight. That was beautiful, RJ.
That hit all three posts too.
Yes,
that was gorgeous. I mean, yeah, if you are thinking about getting a McCann jersey, if it's just like the commitment is the problem, I understand it's expensive, but if just taking the leap is what's holding you back, like what are you waiting for? Just go do it. This guy's in the first year of a 5-year contract. He's doing this stuff. He's going to keep doing this stuff. Go get that jersey.
Yeah, again, first player to really commit to the franchise and all that stuff too. Like that's a good reason to do it. I'd be on board with it as well. Lindsay, night all. Let's do another dance party tomorrow night for sure, Lindsay. I think, yeah, we'll probably hang it up here after this one just because we got the other one tomorrow night. And again, one more time for Patreon people, it is the live commentary game. Again, I know it's short notice. It's early in the month, all that stuff. It's just the only game we had where we could both do it. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Kraken going up to Vancouver for that one. See what kind of momentum they can bring for this one, RJ, because I mean, I got to think it's going to be a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, they're carrying over a ton of positive momentum. The Canucks are just kind of playing for pride at this point, but it's going to be a tough game. The Kraken are going to need to play well. I'm excited to see what they can do. It'll be a little bit of a step up over this Arizona team. So excited to see them take on that next level of challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so good stuff. Looking forward to it tomorrow. One more shout out for Queen Anne Beer Hall for sponsoring this post game live, as well as all the podcasts, like the deep dive, which again, everybody recommend that one. We talk about all the Kraken's options for who they're going to face in this postseason. Then we rank them based on who we want to face versus who we really don't want to have to face in the playoffs this year. So definitely go give that one. It's extra long, but it's definitely worth the listen. Thanks everybody for joining us for this one. Thanks everybody who gave the super chats, and we'll see y'all next time.